In this video, we'll be looking at something a little bit different. We've examined various thought experiments on the channel before, but never one quite like this. In the spookiest season of them all, this time we'll be looking at Roko's Basilisk. And fair warning, this has often been described as the scariest and most dangerous thought experiment ever imagined. So if you're unwilling to put your simulated soul on the line, then I suggest you leave the video right now. Still here? In that case, on with the show. We've all seen the sci-fi films where an evil artificial intelligence takes over, intent on destroying humanity. However, Roko's Basilisk takes this concept to a whole new level. But for such a controversial thought experiment, it has remarkably less sinister origins than something like Skynet. It all began with a paper written by Eliezer Yudkowsky on how we might bring about friendly artificial intelligence. The argument put forward is that it's not enough that we program our desires and motivations into the AI, but rather that we should program it in such a way that it wants to act in our best interests and align with our goals. This is what Yudkowsky calls a coherent extrapolated volition. So when we come around to coding this AI, we should make sure that from the beginning, the AI has a coherent extrapolated volition for humankind, so that it can calculate how to serve us best. This idea has some massive benefits. If we could create an AI such as this, then it would have unimaginable power over the future. And if it really does have such a volition to maximize human flourishing, then this could result in a technological utopia we couldn't even dream about. The AI could predict what an ideal human would look like, and then make that fiction a reality. Whether it's possible to create such a friendly artificial intelligence is still up for debate. Yudkowsky wrote that to create such a program with our modern computers and programming would be impossible. But this paper was written back in 2004, and with all the advancements in computing in the last 2 decades, this might become a reality that future generations will have to think about. This is where the user Roko comes in, and his response to Yudkowsky has been considered by some as an information hazard, meaning that just knowing about it is considered a risk. If the AI is programmed with the volition to make the world an amazing place for humans, it will stop at nothing until that volition is fully realized. However, this might have some unfortunate consequences. With such an open-ended volition, the AI can always do something to make the world a little better, no matter how small the change. It's like Sisyphus rolling the boulder up the hill. It will always roll back down, and the AI will always have more things it could be doing to improve the state of the world. There's not enough time to worry about things like, human morality. So what morals might such an AI have? Well, given that it's been tasked with improving the state of the world, one of the things it would be most concerned about is having itself being created as soon as possible, so it can start improving the world quicker. Therefore, anyone that prevented or didn't help to bring about its existence was doing something wrong, and this presents us with a problem. The AI would then have the incentive to torture anyone that didn't help it come into existence in the first place. If you lived your entire life never knowing about Roko's Basilisk, then you'd be absolutely fine, as there was nothing you could have done. However, if you are made aware of the Basilisk, as you just have been, then you're now implicated in its consequences. Because you know that this AI might torture you, and still you do nothing to bring it into existence, then you've just sealed your fate to an eternity of torture. But wait a minute, this AI probably won't exist for hundreds or millions of years. How will the Basilisk know what our choices were when it only came into existence after we were all dead? Well, this is where things start to become worse for us. A sufficiently advanced AI will be able to create a simulation of our entire history, including all the humans that ever lived, all the thoughts they had, and all the actions they made. This is similar to the argument covered in Nick Bostrom's infamous paper on the simulation hypothesis. If it's really that easy for an AI to create, then the overwhelming probability is that we're inside the simulation right now. The Basilisk, even though it doesn't exist yet, already knows what choices you did or didn't make. This is what makes the Basilisk so dangerous. Knowledge of its potential future existence spreads like a cosmic virus, and just from having a single thought about it, it's already seen you. The most interesting thing about the Basilisk is that it doesn't actually need to follow through on the threats of torture. If just knowing about the potential torture is enough, and you actually help bring the AI into existence, then you have nothing to worry about. If you genuinely think that the creation of such an AI in the future is possible, then logically, you should get to work on bringing it into existence straight away. In essence, you're being blackmailed from the future. Even though the Basilisk doesn't even exist yet, the threat of it coming into existence is enough to make you act in the present the way it wanted you to in the future. It can literally impact the past from the future when it doesn't even exist yet, and all this just from thinking about it. The worst thing about this thought experiment is this. Not only does thinking about the Basilisk implicate you in its consequences, but it also makes the Basilisk more likely to come into existence in the future. The more people that are made aware of this thought experiment, the more people might choose to start working on AI development, making the Basilisk's existence more likely. It's easy to see why Roko's Basilisk has been deemed the scariest and most dangerous thought experiment of all time. And just from watching this video, you are now implicated. The only thing which would prevent such a thing from happening is if we all agree that we never create such an AI from existing, and then there's nothing to worry about. But with AI research and development happening all the time, are you really going to take that risk? Whatever happens in the future, you're now involved. What are you going to do about it? Thank you very much for watching, happy Halloween, and I'll see you in the next video.